All right, my buddy Joel and I are heading into my favorite camp spot in all of the national forests that I've ever been to in California. Super rad spot. One big issue is that it just snowed a ton the weekend before, and we were going in worried that we were going to hit a bunch of fallen trees and a bunch of snow. Well, we got lucky, and so stay tuned and go wheel. It's John. I'm here with my buddy Joel. We're heading into the Stanislaus National Forest. It's about 9:30 on a Thursday night, 39 degrees. I do have a chainsaw on the roof of my Jeep back there, and we do have some tracks in case there's like snow. We haven't. What do you think we're going to encounter going into our favorite camp spot?
Judging by the 2 down trees, I'm a little nervous about the tree situation, and the going in with 1 rig is a little sketchy. But overall, I think we're going to make it in. I think it might take a little bit of tree clearing. And I think we're gonna get there.
Literally this morning that they cleared Sourgrass Trail, which is like 2,000 feet lower elevation. Sourgrass had 30 downed trees before the first water crossing, and there's only 2 of us. It's late, so let's see if we can get to our favorite spot. So we could drive through this. Luckily, those are pretty big too. That would have sucked. Really had no snow, and then we had this last weekend, which came out of nowhere. It wasn't even on the forecast like 2 weeks ago or anything. On Monday, there was snow out here. Now it's Thursday, and it's so clear right now, so this is good. Like I thought it'd be way wetter.
I thought everything would look wet.
Yeah. This area has been like heavily logged in the past year. So the road's partially graded part of the way in, like really good and solid. Big ass 3-foot down tree. The good news is, so far we've made it further than I thought before having to cut down any trees. The concern that we have going forward too is someone already here? Because there's already been trees cut. And I don't really see any fresh tracks on this road, so I think we're good. There was one year we came in and we hit a lot of snow. It's really just down trees, I think. I don't think we're gonna hit like deep snow. Oh, there's our first tree. As far as the first one that we've had to hit tonight, so let's do a tree counter maybe in the video too. But the good news about that is no one's driven around it because it's blocking the whole road. So I think we're doing pretty good as far as getting into the spot. Oh wow, one of the logs like slid off their pile. They'd been logging through here heavily last year, and I was also worried that there might be a ton of loose, like sloppy mud since the road was torn up, but it was good.
Blew my tire right here, and then I was with my dad, and they're all like stressed out, and I'm like, I'm gonna go all the way in on the flat tire. And they were like, you're nuts, dude. They're all stressing out, but I made it. I just went really slow. Yeah.
So this spot coming up, years ago we came in the snow, like a lot of snow through here, like winching for hours and hours, 3 feet at a time with the tracks. It was just bad snow. It was late May. There was a tree sticking out that had kind of partially fallen over, and I slid down the embankment a little bit and put a dent in this Jeep 2 weeks after we bought it.
Very first dent. Very
first trip. It's the only dent on the rig.
There's some stuff to feel a little sketchy.
So we're almost to camp. I'm excited because we haven't hit any deep snow. We've moved a couple fallen trees, which means no one's down here. There is one sketchy part coming up, and then we got to cross a river crossing, and that could be deep right now. It has been deep before. So this big tree on the left, we had to cut down like 15 years ago. It was across. We've got a tree.
We're both looking over here.
I was looking over here. We got a tree to cut down. Okay, so we spoke too soon, and I know it doesn't look like it on video, but this is actually a pretty steep downhill. Pretty heavy. This is getting torn up, dude.
Yeah.
This was just a dirt section. Look at this right here. This was nothing before, dude. This is getting way more torn up.
Yeah, let's just turn it into a cool little like...
This is gonna be a difficult spot in the trail pretty soon.
Look at this drop right here. This is pretty...
It's a pretty good drop now.
Enough to keep it like a stock truck.
I mean... Oh yeah. It's like... it's like halfway up 37. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah, like right through the middle.
That is crazy.
Look how high the river is. That tree's actually...
That table's gone.
Oh wow.
You remember that kitchen?
Yeah, the kitchen table thing. We're pretty much down to 1 table.
It looks like whoever did it.
It's like snow in camp. We have a big ass tree that fell in camp. Yeah, river is really high right now.
No, those are bullet holes, dude. I think someone shot it.
Yeah, it sucks that people are finding this spot because regular people suck. It's actually not that wet right here. Got the H-calorie diesel heater going on the tent. You know, there's a couple things that I'm not sure what to do. I just have the tent unzipped, which I normally wouldn't like for critters and snakes getting in. There's got to be a way to put into the tent, maybe something on the side of the tent that I can add. And these aftermarket flex hoses like aren't happy. My buddy Joel was really smart and gave me a tent stake to hold this hose from actually hitting the exhaust, which is awesome. There's got to be a better way to do this. My thought is maybe if you use the stock short hose. The new Costco tripod light, we got in late, and it's probably 29 to 31 degrees right now. So we're at camp. It's the next day. It got extremely cold last night. We're more prepared tonight for the cold. Our buddy Mitch showed up today in his 2003 Tundra. Rear locker, rock sliders, and 32-inch Duratrax. And he did put a rear locker in this. Because of this trail getting worse and worse and worse over the years, he needs new front shocks. That bushing is actually shot, and the shock's like hanging off the top of the bolt from the bushing deteriorating. So we're gonna try to put like a little 1-inch lift, 1.5-inch lift on this thing. I think between the shock bushing failing and the lift, he might gain 2 to 3 inches up front, depending on what we do. And then the rear, just do an add a leaf. Yeah, this is my favorite spot in all the national forests. We've been coming here since I was a kid. So I've been on a lot of Jeep trails in my life, camped all over the Sierra Nevadas. I've seen some really cool camp spots. And we've also seen some really good wheeling and some really good Jeep trails, including Rubicon, Slick Rock. But my favorite camp spot in every national forest that I've ever been to is this spot right here. Dead ends into a river camp spot. It starts off for a long time as just a 2-wheel drive dirt road. It seems very unassuming. And then the last like half mile is actually some decent four-wheeling, nothing super hardcore. You know, Rubicon's 10 out of 10. This is probably like a 2 out of 10, maybe a 2.5, 3. You know, I wouldn't bring a stock rig down here. We used to bring stock rigs down here, but the road's gotten more torn up from side-by-sides, tearing up the road over the past 5 years. There was a big change during COVID when we noticed side-by-sides were finding this place, and we'd watch them drive out sometimes, and they would just completely destroy the trail on the way out. Hey, comment below on the national forest that you like to camp in the most. All right, so let's do the trail recap. So difficulty, I would call it a 2.5 out of 10, only because the last quarter to half mile is like, you're gonna want like a locker or a lift and bigger tires. Stock rigs are gonna have a really hard time getting out, but people break front axle shafts coming out of here before on like IFS rigs, but you get a little bit of light wheeling, which keeps a lot of people out of here. And it's great for camping. It's like the best camp spot. You got some epic views of the granite and the river on the river, and then you have another river right there. So it kind of feels like you're almost on an island because the other river wraps around and connects right here. It's super peaceful. We kind of have a really, really good location for tents and tree cover, so you're not getting too hot, too much early sun. A good fire pit on the water. Would I do it again? Yeah, there's some trails I run once and I'm done. Jeep trails or camping, we're exploring, checking out new spots. Usually it's a one and done. This is a spot that I will always come to for the rest of my life, at least once a year, usually early spring before everyone else gets out here. We usually clear the road in, remove trees, and clean up the camp spot from all the idiots that left garbage here last year. How has this changed over the years? This used to be very stalker friendly. More people are finding it, more side-by-sides are finding it. I would say it went from like a 1 out of 10 to like a 2.5 out of 10 over the past 5 to 6 years. And I would say if we go camping, we don't want to be around a bunch of people. So I think one of the reasons I give it such like a high rating, it's like 10 out of 10 for camp spots, is because like it dead ends, it's hard to find, looks unassuming on the road in, so people usually turn around after a while and they don't take the time to go the rest of the way. Conditions, it's April. It was like in the 20s last night. It was extremely cold. Other than that, there's some snow on the ground. Right now, it's probably 55, 60 degrees, like perfect weather. What's the worst part of the trail? It's the last quarter mile. There's 2 spots. There's a steep tree root section, and then there's another big drop-off section with some small granite ledges. That's the hardest part. It's not super hard, but once again, I wouldn't bring like a stock 4Runner down here. 31s and a 2-inch lift and a locker will be fine. Are there shelf roads? There's no shelf roads getting down here. There are some mild shelf roads, but no like extreme drops. You know, nothing where your tires are hanging towards the edge of a 500-foot cliff or something like that, which makes me very happy because I hate shelf roads. The best part of the trail is the wheeling, the last part. When we're talking about trail itself, the last half mile wheeling is actually really fun. There's some really cool stuff in there. We're not here to rock crawl. We do that for other trails. We're here to get away from people, and that wheeling keeps a lot of those people out. And comparing this to other trails, I wouldn't even put it on the list of Jeep trails per se, but I would say as far as forest roads go, it's a more difficult forest road. It's easier than Sourgrass. And Sourgrass I would consider like a 4 or 5 out of 10, with the exception of the water crossing on Sourgrass. It's nowhere near, like Rubicon's a 9 or a 10 out of 10. I would say most forest roads are 0s out of 10. All right, to recap, we got water, no shelf roads, not stalker friendly, great camping, easy trail, can be cold. Battery's getting charged by the solar panel, charging the tripod light, charging my phone, Starlink. Oh yeah, the new stripes. Now that we're here, we're actually in camp. How'd it go last night?
Really cold. I had a little heater buddy thing in there, so it that kept me not too bad, but it was bitter out here. You could feel it on your face just biting at you. But overall, yeah, it was great. The weather today is awesome. Not too hot, a little bit chilly, but perfect.
How was it getting in on the road in?
Way easier than expected. Came right in, no problem. Stressed and worried and planned for hours.
I know,
for things
right?
that never happen.
I know. Well, we've come in here before where there has been 3 feet of snow or big trees, so it's like I was worried about that being one rig. We used to hike to the top of these granite plutons when we were younger. This place is super cool. Really cool rocky area right there by camp when the water's low. It's fun to float around in when it's not rushing. Just an overall rad spot. All right, here's the next day and we are heading out. This is that little creek crossing by camp. And then from here, you got to hit some little granite climb. Used to be all dirt. I think the side-by-sides have just torn it up. You'll see it in a second. Pretty easy coming out, but it's like a really good thing that Mitch had put that rear locker in a couple years ago, because as the trail gets more torn up, he definitely needs to use that rear locker coming out of here. Usually coming in, you can kind of control gravity. This spot right here does not look steep in the video, and it's actually like a really steep climb, and the trees are tighter in person to your sides than they are in this video. It's funny seeing the tracks and the chainsaw on the roof because we didn't even need them this trip, but you really never know during the early spring openings if you're gonna experience like bad snow, deep mud, or lots of fallen trees like we have in the past. This was probably one of the easier years getting in, opening the place up. I don't consider this section like super difficult, but it's denied a lot of people over the years where you have to like reset, or some people have gotten stuck, or this is where people have broke. I know in the video it looks pretty easy, but it's a little stacked in right now. Those roots really mess with traction. When the soil's wet, it makes it even worse. I had to like realign. I did not hit it right, especially it depends on wheelbase too, because often you're like climbing on the rear and the front at the same time. Like I said in the video, it doesn't look like much, but I tell you what, in person, rolling up to it every time, it's always a little bit harder than I remember. I was stoked for Mitch on this one. This is the first time he's made it up unassisted in years. He did have to back up and back off it and realign and get a little bit of spotting, but I think the newer tires, the rear locker, he's doing great. And I do think once he replaces his front shocks, that'll help a lot with traction. And I do think a little bit of lift in the rear won't hurt anything at all, but he did get through, and I was pretty stoked on this. Yeah, if you like the video and you want to see more of these, please click the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton with growing the channel. This is pretty much the end right here of any section that requires 4-wheel drive. From here on out, it's your normal 2-wheel drive dirt forest roads that everyone's used to. Thanks for following along this week and watching the video and supporting the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Hey, it's John. I got my buddy Joel here, and we are heading into the Stanislaus National. I can't say that damn word. Okay, so this, I hate talking in front of camera, in front of people.